So there's two things I've been thinking on. The first one, and this has been like super helpful for me in my daily decisions, what we're doing
Mhm.
is and it sounds small. I'm like, oh, that's not a big deal, but I think it might be. Is seeing myself. We always try to put on these identities, right? So if someone comes up to me, Trav, what do you do? For the last decade, I've said I'm an entrepreneur, and
Mhm.
then their eyes usually kind of glaze over, and they're kind of like, oh, okay. And I got to try to explain something, and I
Yeah,
never really dialed in what I do very
right,
well, my
right.
elevator pitch. But about 2 weeks ago, I was wondering why this bugged me so much, and so I'm thinking on it, and I started thinking about when I first started doing online things seriously, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, and I struggled with a certain thing. I'd have an idea. So one of the first ones I did that was as a service was I would write if you had an e-commerce business, I
Mhm,
would go in and I would set up email sequences for you, and they
mhm.
would be automated. And
Yeah.
every time I did this, they'd make the owner thousands and thousands and thousands of automated dollars. It was awesome. It worked like gangbusters. I made a dude like $1 million over a couple years extra
Mhm,
on top of what he was already doing.
mhm,
So, but here was my problem is, and I would say this, it's a good service. It's awesome. I like it. I got it dialed in to where someone built it out for me. It was super cool. But I don't want to be an email e-commerce guy. I don't even want to be an email guy.
mhm,
And what I was saying was, what I meant was like, when you have a thing, a business, you go on YouTube and you talk about it, and you go on social and you're talking about it, and you need to
mhm.
make at least one video a week about email. And I'm just thinking like, I can't do that. Like, I don't want to do that. I could make like 6 or 8 videos, but then I'm just manufacturing junk. And that has
Mhm.
always been a constant thing in my life is I don't like this. I know what this sounds like, but hear my heart. I don't like doing things I don't like to do.
Mhm.
And what I mean is when I have to like, I've been in sales, and before I understood sales well and how it worked, I would kind of just be a little bit over the top. And I remember I was selling new construction homes, and one of the things we did was super cool is we would help you get out of your current home, and oftentimes we would buy it so that you could buy one of our custom homes.
Mhm.
It was a trade your old house program.
Yeah.
And I remember just being a little bit fake, just going in there and just be like, "Oh man, this house is lovely. This is awesome. Oh, your dog's so cute." And truth is, the house was ugly, and I don't like dogs. But I would like say that stuff.
Yeah.
And it just felt gross, and I was just like, I know more now, and I wouldn't do any of that. I would just be
Yeah.
authentic, and I'd still make a ton of sales. I'd crush it. But back then, it was just, and that's the kind of thing because it's putting on this identity. Like, I'm a salesman, I'm a realtor, I'm an email guy, I'm an
Mhm,
entrepreneur, I'm a business owner. Even recently, I've been working to kind of take on the identity more of an investor.
mhm.
And you might think, oh, that's cool, that's fine, that's great. But here's what I'm getting at. About 2 weeks ago, it hit me, and this is like when I say this out loud, it makes me feel like is my identity. I'm just a Christian.
Mhm.
I'm a Christian. I preach and I teach. I own businesses. I own investments. I you see what I'm saying? Here's what I am, and I just own these things.
Mhm.
It change that perspective. If you can take that on, changes everything. I went. Here's what's great. That was about 2 weeks ago, around there. I went to a mastermind meeting here locally on Monday, 3 4 days ago, and there's a new guy there,
Mhm.
and we were going around the room introducing ourselves, and he goes, "I'm a kingdom ambassador." Everyone's saying what they do, what they are. And it gets to him, he goes, "I'm a kingdom ambassador. I also own a company." And I was like, "That's what I've been." Like, I stopped everything and I said it out loud. I was like, "Yes." I was like, "That's what I've been saying." I literally made that shift like a week ago. And I was
Mm.
like, in my mind, it sounds corny. I get it. Like, it does. It sounds cheesy and corny, whatever. But I like it. And I
Mhm.
think there's something to that.
Mhm.
And part of the reason why is it allows me, I think something that I've struggled with, and I've gone back and forth on my viewpoints over the years on this, is we say things like, "Hey, you need to stay in your lane. Focus on doing one thing, do it well, and then move on to the next."
Mhm.
And I get that. I totally get it. I understand. And I've done that. Subscribed to that. I've taught that. I've coached that. But then there's this other part, and maybe it comes later, maybe it's seasonal. I don't know. But for me, I've been like, yeah, but I kind of want to try a bunch of stuff. Like, I kind of want to do some more things. There's some opportunities in the crypto investment space where I can hire a developer to make my own investment that people invest in, and it pays them out once a week, like a little paycheck. And I kind of want to try that. I kind of want to do it. Like, it could just be like, let's just chalk it part of what I do. But because I'm a Christian and I own investments and I own businesses, I feel like I can do that. But if I'm over here saying, well, I'm a business owner, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an investor, I'm an email guy, I'm an ads agency owner, I'm a marketer, I'm a copywriter, I'm a consultant, I'm a coach. For some reason, it gets muddy to think I could do other things.
Mm.
But if I'm a Christian and I own stuff, that's different. I come at it with a different approach. I ask myself different questions. How could I own this business without being stuck in it, without running it? How could
Mhm.
I own this investment without being all emotional about it and checking it every 10 seconds?
Mhm.
I just own these things. I'm an owner and
Yeah.
I'm on assignment. So I'm preaching, I'm teaching.
Mhm.
Travis's assignment is to teach God's people how to live a life of increase and purpose. And
Right.
Ryan knows if you hang out with me for 5 minutes or less, I'm talking about that stuff.
Mhm.
But I also own this investment over here and this business over here and invested over here in those types of things. So that's part one I've been thinking on.
Mhm.
Changing our identity and like getting out of like my identity is not actually being an entrepreneur, because that means if you took that away, I would be lost. But the truth is, if I'm a Christian, you all those things can go away and I'm not lost at all.
Yeah. That's right.
Like, I'm still gonna crush it in life because that's who
Mhm.
I am.
Right.
Think on these things. The second part that plays in is I had a fun thought. There was a meme I saw like a year ago, and I keep thinking about it. And it was a video, and it was of Shaquille O'Neal, and he was like in some kind of flash mob roller skating dance thing.
Mhm.
And the meme says, uh, "It's like Shaq beat the game, and now he's going back and completing the side quests." Video game reference.
Mhm.
And I thought that was a super fun way to look at it. So the other day, I thought about that meme for like a year. And the other day, I playing in with this thing where I'm a Christian and I just own these things.
Mhm.
I don't have to be those things or run those things. I just own them. That's cool. I started asking myself, what would Shaq do? Because it feels like Shaq has a ton of fun. He makes a
Mhm.
ton of money. He owns a lot of businesses. He owns a lot of investments.
Mhm.
He does commercials and TV shows, and he hosts stuff. And he's he's able to do a bunch of things that sound super fun.
Mhm.
So I just made a list. I said, what would Shaq do? And it was like all the stuff. Maybe it's a bracelet we make next, And it's like it's kind of like, what's the fun thing to do? What do you
Mhm.
want to do? What
Mhm.
sounds great? And again, with this whole perspective shift, I was just praying and talking with God, and it was stuff like that crypto opportunity where I could have my own that people invest in, and I've got some cool ideas how I can make it a little different and fun and make it last longer and some different stuff. And I don't know, I think there's sometimes where God's just like, yeah, what do you want to do?
Mhm.
We keep thinking every single thing has to be like, God, do you want me to sit in this chair or this chair? God, do you want me to, like, what do when sometimes, just like with your kids, with our kids, they say, Dad, I don't know what to do. Dad, I'm bored. Dad, what should I do? I'm like, what do you want to do? Even if my daughter came up to me and if she asked, Dad, what do you want me to be when I grow up?
Mhm.
I would actually respond, well, what do you want to do when you grow up?
Right.
Or let's say she was grown up. Let's say she was 28 and came to me and she's like, Dad, what should I do with my life? What do you want to do?
Mhm.
And the reason I would ask that is because she's a kingdom kid. She's raised up in the word. She's got God inside her. Ephesians 1, she's united with Christ, just like we are. So those things that she wants to do were put there by the Lord.
Mhm.
So if I'm like, hey, God, I'd like to go visit the Grand Canyon. He's like, okay, put a plan together. When do you want to go? Hey, I want to start a crypto investment. Okay, let's talk about it. What do you want to do to make it different or better? What's your plan? Why do we think the relationship with God's different than that?
Right.
What a refreshing way to look at it, fun way to look at it.
Mhm.
And if for whatever reason he fully was like, that crypto thing would be a horrible idea and it would wreck your life, he's going to close the door.
Mhm.
He's always taking care of you like that. And
Right.
that's not going to change. We have got this misconception or this notion that if we have ideas, that they have to perfectly match this invisible list of God's things and ideas that he has. Even, I challenge things like, um, I've heard this preached for my whole adult life. Well, I don't want to just go do something and then ask God to bless it. And I get where that's coming from. Like I said, I think I've taught that before. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. But there's not a scripture that backs that up. And so maybe it's worth exploring and talking to God about that whole concept. Because maybe the ideas you have were from him, but due to man's wisdom, or I didn't have enough money in the bank, so obviously that can't be from God. He didn't tell me to go buy that land and build that ministry because I don't have the money. So obviously that's probably just me just trying to like get some glory or try to be like a rock star.
Mm.
No, what? We're making all that stuff up. And that's just the enemy talking you out all the cool stuff you could be doing.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking on this week is, am I truly identified with Christ as a Christian, as a believer? Like that's what I am. That's what I do. I've got assignments and I'm in my assignments. I'm teaching God's people how to live a life of increase and purpose. We got the YouTube, we got the podcast, we got the workbooks, we got the other books, we got the
Mhm.
courses, we got that, we got all the cool stuff that's helping people win. Doing that. And then on the side, I also own a bunch of crypto passive income investments. I own a business that has increased curriculum. I own a business that teaches people how to get into crypto passive income. Ryan's there with me on that. I own some real estate investment properties. I own some stocks that pay me dividends. I invest in some local businesses here that I just put money into and I consult a little bit with them. They do what I say and they make more money and then they pay me a little portion and it's great, right? All those things could go away and I'm still loving life and having a blast because I'm just being a Christian on assignment. We're deployed down on earth we can live up to 120 years, but easy math, I just say we're deployed down here for 100 years. We've got a 100-year window.
Mhm.
I'm doing my assignment and I own some things that are going to me up for some cool legacy stuff to pass to my kids and my kids' kids. And hopefully my kids. That's what I'm thinking on. I'll just talk the whole time and you said nothing.
Well,
This is
just
kind of
listening.
like
I'm just
our
listening.
relationship.
No, it's good. I'm just listening, taking it all in. You're the talker. I'm the listener. No, it's good stuff. Yeah. Um,
He's
yeah, it's not
speechless,
about
folks.
it's not about those things. It's not about the things that we do. And our identity is not in our job or career or business. Heard somebody say also, be the chairman of everything, the CEO of nothing. I mean, is what you just said. You don't want to run the businesses, you want to own them.
Yeah, because I think we limit our capacity. So, for instance, I had a business idea. Well, I've had it for a long time. I finally found a guy I think could run it, but then I
Mhm.
started thinking about all the stuff that would go into it, how involved I'd have to be, and I started feeling, oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Then I stopped myself again and said, this is a great idea. You've had it for a long time. It's one that has stuck with you for probably 10 years. It's worth exploring. There's a reason it's there. We need to at least explore it and take some steps on it.
Mhm.
And you don't have to be involved in it. You just think you do because that's all you've seen.
Yeah.
Right. So you have these thoughts. The enemy tries to talk you out of them using
Mhm.
logic and reasoning most of the time, often
Right.
disguised as wisdom.
Mhm.
Then you can counteract those thoughts again and be like, wait, it doesn't have to be like that. Like, Ryan, do you know anybody who invests or owns a business, but is not super involved in it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do. I know a ton of them. So
Hmm.
why can't I do that? Why can't you do that? Why can't we do that?
Yeah.
You can own a business or a portion of it and yet not have to be super involved in the day to day.
Hmm.
That is possible. A lot of people doing it. Hundreds of thousands of people do it. You can figure it out too. So anyway, so I made the text and I was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I got this idea. Let's talk about it tomorrow." Okay, perfect. Let's roll. So I'm always taking steps,
Yeah.
and I can do that because I'm not caught up in being. I am an entrepreneur.
Mm.
I am a business owner because then I would try to get super involved in it, and next thing you know, I wouldn't have time
Mhm.
to make YouTube videos or something, to distract me. But I can own it. So
Mhm.
that's what that identity shift has really helped me. And maybe that's
That's
for you,
good.
maybe it's for someone else, whatever. But
Yeah.
and then the second part is what would Shaq do? Let's have some fun. Let's do some fun stuff. So I made a list. And like the list was funny. Some of it was funny. Some of it was like, I want to act in a movie. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm a good actor, I think. Let's go in a movie. Let's do a movie. I don't have to be the
Yeah.
whole movie, maybe a cameo, maybe a little
Right.
guy in the background or one line or something, but that would be fun. And then I have some ideas for some advertisements. I like marketing. I like doing advertisements. Let's get these things out here. I've got some crazy ideas no one else has done that I
Mhm.
think could revolutionize some things. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Grand Canyon was on there. I ain't never seen Grand Canyon. That's probably go.
Mhm.
Some fun stuff like that.
Yeah. It's like your almost like your bucket list.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, karate. I want to take some karate lessons.
Yeah.
I want to chop some boards and break some bricks.
Mhm. Go with your girls.
Yeah, that was the plan to get my girls
Yeah.
in there. That would be awesome. I did karate when I was in fourth and fifth grade.
Uh-huh.
Got up to that blue belt, baby.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's kind of red, and then it was black, so I was kind of close.
Wow. Does it still stick with you? Like if you go back, you still have blue, or do you have to start from the beginning again?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably the beginning. That was
Long time ago.
28 years ago.
Right.
Although I still feel like I'm a ninja. Like if someone came in right now,
Right.
I'd take them out.
You still can handle it. Yeah. It might be one of those things that sticks with you. You just never forget it. If you learn it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was
All
never
right.
under.
Let's end this recording here. I think it's going to help some people. Just thoughts for the day.
Thoughts for the day. That's good.
All right. See you guys.